Hi, welcome. So, if you are planning on launching an app or you have an idea of an app that you want to bring to life, so today I'm going to be talking about the process and cost of launching a mobile or web app. So, let's get down to what it will entail or what's the process. So, first of all, we have to understand that we have to go through market research. Then, we're going to go into design and development, security and maintenance, marketing, and actually the cost of developing it. So I'm going to be going through each and every one of this process and explaining it in as much details as possible. So now let's get to the first one, market research. So market research simply mean you researching about the app that you want to do. So you can do this in various way, but I think one of the most effective way I've done this for most apps is using what we call a link canvas. So I'm going to be bringing in what or how a link canvas actually looks like. So a link canvas is more like a structure that could help you figure out some important things. So you could see that it has the problem that you're having of the app, the solutions, the unique value proposition, customer segment, channels, key metrics. I think lane canvas is one of the fastest way I do get my ideas out of my head into paper, and also my clients' ideas. So if they have issues of okay, I don't know what I want to build, I'll tell them look at a lane canvas, and this is going to, if you're able to pin and provide all the details in this stuff, you would have done almost close to 30% of bringing your idea to life. So if you can't go through a lane canvas, you need to also find other ways of writing down the things, but this is the fastest way to get your idea out of your head. And in looking or researching on bringing your idea to life, you need to understand your demographic and all those things. So that lane canvas cover everything, and if you can be able to finish it up, you'll be able to understand 100% of your target market. So I'm going to leave a link below to the link canvas so that you could look at it and study it. So without much, let's go to the next one, design and development. So this is where the main thing is. So after you've gotten the idea, your lane canvas, and you have a product requirement document, because with a lane canvas you could also understand the product requirement. So product requirement is more like, okay, what will be required for developing an app? But before you get there, you need to understand first your goals for developing this thing. You need to understand that okay, you have to be the user-friendly design and user-friendly app. You need to look at the business side. So it's not all about designing it. You need to look in, I think with your link canvas, you'll be able to still understand, okay, how am I going to make money from this? Is it going to be profitable and everything? And the process of making money would affect how the app look like. If you're having a subscription app, you should know that okay, there will be places for me to charge. If you are going to go premium, you need to know okay, it's going to be a free app, or maybe will I charge it? So all these decisions is going to play a big role in when you want to develop your app. So also you have to decide whether it's a web or app. This is a very big deal. Like when I was creating one of the app that we are currently working on, I had this roadblock of should I bring it in as a web app or should I bring it as a mobile app. So but at the end of the day, I asked myself, okay, where are my users going to be using this thing first? So that would help you with the decision. And sometimes majority of these platforms go first with web, because it's kind of the quickest and the fastest way users get to interact with your app. Check Facebook, Airbnb, these guys went web first. But there are some apps that you can't cut that corner. Like take for example, now if you want to build a hailing cab service app like Bolt or Uber, you cannot do without the main app. So apps that have to do with locations and heavy app usage that use cameras and anything inbuilt in the phone, you have to go ahead to choose to go with mobile. So this is also a very big criteria to think about. So the next thing is app development process. So first of all, you got the idea, you sketch it. So if you are doing it yourself, if you are not doing this yourself, your developer or UI person will take care of majority of this process, but so that you are aware of what the person is even doing in the first place, you get. So they go through first idea conception. So you do some rough sketch of how the app would look like. Then you create wireframes. So wireframes are more like what you are seeing down here. So like structure of the design. Then a prototype. A prototype is more like it's the app, or it's a clickable format. You can't, it's not in the phone. Some persons go into high level prototype, like we do that in our agency. We can go high level by creating the real prototype in an APK format and give it to you. It's not a real thing, but it is, let's say, 80 to 70% closer to the real thing. So when you give this to investors, they will be very happy and be able to really interact with what they would want to invest in. And not just investors, people that your potential users will be able to interact with this app by going through a prototype. Then you develop, then you test. It's a cycle. You keep going round. You wireframe, you build, you develop, you test, you configure. So it's going to be a whole round process. And that's why when going into app development, you have to know that this is not just one time thing. You have to dedicate your time into building this. So the next step or stage is security and maintenance. So this is a very, 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 very important thing. So whenever it's building your app, you need to have security and maintenance at the back of your mind. So let's start with security first. So security is more like data privacy. How are you going to protect your users from issues and the rest? And users should know that their data is safe with you. So if you're collecting any information at all from the users, then when you are building it, you have to make sure you follow some cybersecurity guidelines. You need to know, okay, hope my app is not going to be prone to hacks or prone to this, and how can I avoid that? So how can I avoid fake logins and so many other things? So these are things that you need to put into consideration, and you need to also talk with your developer when building this. Like, okay, do we have this? So he would even be aware that you know what you are doing. You get, so everything you need to know that would prevent breaches from the app. So even if you don't have someone that would have to go through the UI, there are other persons, they call them cybersecurity experts. After you have built, you've done with your prototype, you can give them to analyze and scrutinize your app for any security breaches. Then they'll tell you that, okay, don't go through this process, go through this process, fix this, fix that. So that is how you can go about your security. And next, maintenance. So don't forget that you are building something that's quite a little bit big, so you need to maintain it. So you need to make sure the app is reliable, stable, bugs free. There's no how you won't have bugs, but make sure you go through quality assurance. Most persons don't do quality assurance on their app. Why majority of the good companies do quality assurance? Before they push it out there, they make sure everything. But nobody's above bugs. Even Facebook and these big companies, you see time to time the app misbehaves. You get, so, and you need to also adapt to change, but not some necessarily. You don't have to force the change. Take for example now AI. Everybody's implementing or integrating AI into their system, but you need to understand that, okay, does my app need this before putting or fixing the whole AI system into it? So also keeping in mind that you also need to take care of technology advancements. There are some other, if your app has to do with some certain upgrades in iOS or Android. In iOS, you need to make sure you have a good developer that understands it, or you yourself, you would understand this as well. So the next thing is marketing. Well, marketing has, or would I say, should also come in the beginning. You get, so I didn't want to put marketing up front. So marketing is an important step in building your app, because at the end of the day, you need to let the people that you are building it for know that it exists, right? So there's what we call PLP, pre-launch, launch, and post-launch. So pre-launch is the period when you are into the idea stage, you are thinking about the app, and it's not out there yet, so you have to work on your anticipation. So most times people do build public. It's a good thing, it's not bad. While some persons build privately, but they have a certain number of users, you get, and when they get their app is almost 30%, they create this landing page or some social media page to talk about content about the app, not at the app itself. Think around the app so that when they launch, they're already launching to an existing user base. So it's always good to create, that's why we call it pre-launching marketing strategies. That's why most times most SaaS companies, you see them with waitlist. Join my waitlist, we're about to create something that's very nice, join our waitlist. Then they'll be like, oh, we are creating an app that does this, join our waitlist. The app is out, get so the whole process. Then you can create a landing page, swift one, simple, put your email system and everything. On the launch day, you can use what did they call it, social media marketing. You either want to run a Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, depending on where your target audience rely on or are. Then you can also use free platforms like Product Hunt. Those guys allow you to upload apps and the rest. So you look for platforms that accept app upload, and look for groups that your target audience are, and announce it like, hey, my app is up, see it. Then another thing again is post launch. Yeah, when you've launched your app, people do forget about marketing, right? No, that is when your marketing will really even start. So you have to think about app store optimization, making sure your app is in the number one spot in the app store. If it's not on the app store, you make sure you have reviews or ratings on your platform. You have what they call user generated content, UGC. So people create, and you have these user testimonials, right? And this would help your pre-launch process, your post-launch process. So also you need to work on, for your post-launch, regular engagement update. Like you see Facebook, I think Mark Zuckerberg is big on that. Like comes out like, we are uploading this new platform, follow us, or check it. So they have a platform and all this. So you need to work on your marketing. Marketing is a big thing. Most persons neglect this, but it is very crucial in your app development phase. So if you can't do it yourself, you can give an agency to work on this for you, so to push your app out there and make sure it gets to the right users. So the next thing, before we move into the cost of developing an app, you need to understand that there's also what we call analytics. So in the process of doing your marketing, you need to try to make sure you have trackers and everything to know who comes to your app, how they interact with it, whether it being a web app or a mobile app. So factors that influence app development costs. So if you are building an app, or if an app is very expensive, say for example now you want to build a tracking app like or let's say Uber Boats, you know that you are going to be in for a big thing, so you can be looking at about a budget of 6M and above. Facts. Because when we talk less about the process of the building your prototype, to you are going to be dealing with a lot of locations based service, so you can cut some corners with your MVP depending on your budget, but that is for Nigeria here, that is the minimum. In US, the minimum for even developing anything is $10,000. So yeah, it's a big deal developing down there. So you also look at the platform and selection. So sometimes some persons will be like, hey, I want to build on Android or iOS and web at the same time. You think it's an easy thing, but it costs. The more platforms you are building on, the more expensive it becomes. So you need to look into, if you are going to build it for iOS, or start your app as an iOS app. Most apps started like that, iOS only, Android only, and web app only, and you could test before, as an MVP, then start opening up in all those places you get. So it is very, very important. If you have the cash or the funds, you can go. More platforms equals more maintenance you get. So design requirements. Sometimes if your apps have detailed designs, like for example now, like all these nutrition app, weight app, they have lots of design and technicalities. Even had apps like trading apps and all this, so they have lots. So this affects the cost of developing your app. So, and the estimate of developing an app, let's say here in Nigeria, if you want to, let's say very simple web app, a web app could run you from like 1.5M. As if you are having a co-founder that is a developer, you've saved yourself the stress. But if you don't have a co-founder as a developer, you need to, that's the development of the app 1.5. You are now putting into marketing, branding, and the rest, that's your logo and the rest, you would be looking at close to 2.5 to build a very, very comfortable app that you can sleep and wake up and, the developers not cut your neck. That's a web app. So a mobile app can run you around 4M to complete, like a good either Android or iOS. Sometimes if your app is not that tedious, you can use Flutter to build. When you build on Android, it can cross over to iOS. So depending on the developer, depending on your preference. So this is how much it costs to build an app in Nigeria. So you can start from as low as 2.5. That's a full-fledged app that includes marketing budget, the app itself, the design and development, from 2M and above. In US, it starts from $10,000 to $5,000, depending on your building. If you are building anything less, forget it. You're going to have issues. It's no jokes. You get. So if you want to do one, you can actually contact us, book a call with us, and we can help you go through the process and ask you questions, and we will give you answers to whatever questions you have. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section and we would answer it for you. So the process is very brief. First, you need to understand the market. Then you need to work on your design. That's from your logo, your prototype, your sketch to the development. You need to think about security and maintenance. You need to think about your marketing, and you need to think of cost of app development. And remember, you need to test and always keep improving and follow your users' feedback. These are very, very important. So this would help you and success in building your app. So see you on the next video.